And we are live. Welcome, friends, to the PC Journey and the Collectors series at Luca Tiger Braun Network. I am DPZ at PC with DPZ. And with me, we have Shai Vlogs. Shai is joining us today to talk about his collection and a lot of other things, hobby information, his thoughts on the hobby, the current state, I imagine, and just a lot of different great things, but really primarily about cards. We're going to talk about cards, collecting. Shai, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. It's been a while since I've done any podcast stuff, so
good.
Yeah.
Good. Well, let's kick it off with this. I mean, I ask everybody the same thing. I think a lot of folks have heard it, but kind of what's your story? When did you get involved in cards originally? Did you come back? How did you get?
Yeah.
Tell me your story.
Yeah, the origin story. I haven't said that in a while, also.
Right. Yeah.
Anyway, so long story short, I started collecting in around 7th grade. There was a store called Strike Zone out in Queens, New York City. I used to pass by it all the time, and I used to see these posters of like Kobe and Jordan and little cards. It always intrigued me. Went in one day, saw a whole bunch of cards with all different prices, and that always like made me wonder like the rarity level and all that. I got a little dorky in it, and then I always thought having something cool and shiny was cool to do, something fun. It all kind of jumped in. Then I found out a few more kids in school actually collected cards, so I had the binder, traded a few. That lasted maybe a year, 2 years, a couple of years. I broke some wax, nothing major. But then fast forward like about years later, till like 2013. So I had an online business, and since I was online so much, I just went on eBay one day and kind of like remembered some of those expensive cards, like typed it up on eBay and saw like, they were like so much more expensive. So I was like, oh wow, this is still a thing. Like people actually collect this, and the values are like today's dollars. That's a lot of money. So then I actually binged. I bought like the best thing I could do at that time. And I think I spent maybe like 10K in like a month and a half. I don't know where. Just like I wanted these Jordan autos, some rare Jordan, which I still have. I still have a few of them. Even through these run-ups, like a Jordan 98 game jersey card, stuff like that. I still have. And I just like kind of kept them. And then like I got super busy with life and business and all that. Literally was in a shoebox, left it in my parents' house. Fast forward 2018-19, like the Zion year. That's when it really happened. I was checking what those cards I got in 2013 were doing, and that's when I was like, holy shit, this is like beyond nuts now. So like I wanted to go deep in, and then it's 2018-19, the Zion Prism base card here from On is like I'm like super into like knee deep in the hobby.
Knee deep in the hobby. So then so you started out as a collector. You wanted these cards. There's certain cards that you were attracted to that you wanted to have in your PC, and then Zion kind of took you to another level where you're trying to actually maybe buy some and then sell them later.
The hype of that, the euphoria of the 2020 boom with the pandemic and all that, and that's what I did, literally cards like the whole time. So and it was fun for me. It didn't feel like working. I know people were hurting and all that. I was in my own little la la land in the hobby, like we all were, and be like, yo, I'm doing this. I sound like an ass right now, but yeah, we're doing good.
No.
We're okay. I don't need the PPP loans like other people. I don't need that.
Okay, here we go.
I'm joking.
Fired. No, I know. No, it's totally okay.
Listen. I don't care. This is a complete joke. All right,
God. And it's let's unpack that a minute, because I think there is a lot of things to being said about that. And so I'll give you my background. I'm a banker, so I actually underwrote quite a bit of those loans and approved them, in my position with my bank. And we helped out a lot of wonderful people. So I know what went into what you're looking for, what the SBA was looking for when it comes to forgiving them and all of that. And it's really difficult to kind of take advantage of that situation, at least from my perspective. So, I think it would be important to pause on casting the allegations until, unless everybody knew. No one's really going to know that information. Obviously, it's proprietary, it's private. When it comes to
another thing, just like nobody even has the right to explain themselves. No one, like anybody that did that, like, dude, it's like that's me and like my issue and my problem. Like, what is this? Like, I have to like do a statement.
No, anyways, you don't. You don't, and there's really, yeah, it's like, okay, how, if we really want to go down that path, and there's probably a lot of folks that, okay, let's talk about, or how many people are claiming taxes properly for their card, endeavors and all of that. We can just, there's layers and layers and layers of that. So I mean, there's so many skeletons in the closet, right? Yeah, we just go on forever about that. Anyway, so so you got into it, you got excited about it, and I don't think you were, obviously you're not being. It's okay for us to be in that bubble. It's okay for us to escape. And I think a lot of us did that. Even if people were hurting, it was escape. It was an opportunity for us to feel good, touch on our past. So did you keep any of those original purchases, those cards that you wanted? Do you still have them?
So boom, you said to bring stuff. So this was a card that I got in 2012. So like my mindset was such a collector, right? So like there's a red version of this that's amazing. It's actually Jordan's first Bulls jersey, which is cool. And when I saw the black version, the black patch, this is actually like the patch version. It came from the number or the Jordan sign. So when I saw this, it cost me $400 raw. I had it raw the whole time. Then the Zion year happened. And I learned about grading. I was always too scared to ship. I was one of those guys that only bought graded cards. This one was my first one I bought raw because the price was, I saw the huge difference. So I was like, you know what, let me just save the money. Anyway, I still had this card through the ups and downs. I mean, it was definitely worth a lot more like a year ago, but I don't really care, because it's one of my original history of having something, and I like it. I enjoy it. So I'll just keep it for now.
So what grade is that one? I see you got an NBA.
Yeah. So if you want to get into that, so this was originally,
let's do it,
yeah, it was a raw card. I did a raw card review for the first time. It got a BGS 8.5. I posted it also. But then, I'm a PSA guy. It's just like for many reasons. Another, but anyway, so PSA graded this a PSA 6. I thought it was going to get 8 or 9, something crazy good, right? So like with these cards, I learned a lot that there is like something that PSA takes into account and BGS does not. I could send this card back to BGS, it'll probably get an 8.5. And the value probably would increase more. It would sell for more, I would assume. But there's this thing with this is Jordan's first card. So there's this thing towards the bottom that a lot of cards have. A lot of these are PSA 6s and lower. Maybe they start doing that. It's like a glue thing or something like between the card. So they judge that. Because it's the condition of the card. It's like a perfectly centered, beautiful Mickey Mantle card with a tiny pinhole on it. You know what I mean?
Right.
It'll go like a millimeter, but it'll literally be a PSA 10 because of that tiny pinhole. It'll be worth like a 10, like 5%, something along those lines. If you want to.
Well, jersey cards grade. They're tougher to grade. You don't see many jersey cards in it, especially one from '98, right? I mean, that's the first year of jersey cards for basketball. What were the pack odds for Jordans in that year?
Oh,
do you remember?
It was like 1 out of like 54,000 or something. Like it was like extremely hard to get these things. It's like 1 out of 360 packs, but then if you multiply it by like the cases and all that stuff, that's how I got it.
That's the odds.
In my post somewhere.
Well, that's interesting because sometimes the grade's important, but you look at the odds of the card, how rare the card is, how many are out there, how many were printed. So the NBA, talking about the designation, the NBA designation, how did you go about getting that?
I mean, I'm just going to say my opinion. So like at the Dallas show, the NBA thing was hot. This is when hobby was out of this world. So it was a company that was grading graded cards per se. So basically the gold just means I believe there's silver, gold, and black. And basically the sticker means it's the best version of that card in that grade. Like if this is like, why is this a PSA 10 black label? What is this guy's name? Mike Baker. That means it's the best looking PSA Jordan Fleer, for example. Like centering is really like eye peel is like top notch. Everything is perfect. Like somebody else professionally looked over it. That's all that sticker means.
There's been a lot of talk about Mike Baker and whether is that a necessary thing. You talk about PWCC's designations as well. Does that really enhance the value of the card? I think it's from a collector standpoint. I would argue it does. I would argue from a collector standpoint, it's nice to have something, because there might be a lot of PSA 6s, but you have something that actually stands out a bit more than that normal PSA 6. I think as a collector, it's nice to have that designation. So
Yeah, I mean, it helps. It's like getting a second pair of eyeballs to double check.
Mhm.
Um, you know, it costs money, unfortunately, but it's like, okay, whatever, it's there. It doesn't hurt it.
I mean, does it help the market value? I've noticed they do
Yeah,
ask
yeah,
for
yeah.
more for it,
There's
but does it
there's
sell
there's
more?
there's some premium, especially if you get the black. There's
Yeah.
definitely some premium on it, like
Okay.
for sure.
Yeah.
I've seen it across the board, generally speaking, definitely.
Yeah. So I've never had one, never owned one. I mean, I was looking at one at one point in time, like a couple years ago, and I was like, well, I can get one for cheap. It doesn't have the NBA, doesn't have the that designation on it, but I don't know. I just felt like the premium wasn't really entirely worth it at that point. That card, I think it was like an '89 Griffey glossy PSA 10. His rookie card, I was looking for that, but it was the price difference was just too much to overcome. So that's one card. And
Yeah.
what else do you have that you still have from that original time?
Let's see what else. Those were the main cards, and then during like the Zion year-ish, I keep saying Zion, like
That's okay.
2019,
2019.
Zion. I don't collect this stuff at all. I just don't. Yeah,
But it's kind of like almost like there's like we talk about comic books. I was talking to
child.
Bro Namath. There's different. Yeah, there's different. There was the Bronze Age, the Golden Age. I think with collecting, there was like the Griffey, Indian Upper Deck,
Yeah,
Junk Wax era, and there's gonna be like this Luca Zion years that we are in now, right? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So right into there, I tried to get this card that I still had, the Kobe Bams. It's a 90s insert. It's I think I was on Jay Lee's sports card, that his show once, and he had me, and then we spoke about this card like briefly. Basically, this card I got around 20, like earlier, when I first got into that zone in the hobby, 2019-ish, on eBay. And I still had this card. It went through ups and downs. I think I paid like 2K for it. It was probably worth maybe like over 10 all day long on market value during the peak, the Kobe peak and all that. I just didn't want to sell it because it just represented, basically it's like a cheap card nobody wanted, long when it first came out, Hoops product. There's a lot of them were discarded and thrown away, and it was one of the first serial numbered cards. Second year 98, which is important. Any 90s serial number I love. Like 97, 98 is the golden era for serial number cards. So anyways, I bought this, and I still have it. I love it. It just represents like kind of like my background. I was born in Bangladesh, came from nothing, now worked off, worked hard, worked off, worked harder, got, started building my PC, and I was like, cool representation. I do want the Slam Bams if anybody has.
Slam Bams, yeah, I'm a huge Kobe collector, so I know Slam Bams are that. It's hard to get those now, so I'm actually very envious of you. And I have hobby envy, which is a healthy envy. It's not it's the respect. Like, wow, it's cool you have that card. It's a cool card.
And then this is one of my other. This is like another pandemic pickup. It's
no, you got the Kaboom, you lucky son of a wow.
Yeah,
and a 10 nonetheless. Look at that.
Yeah, it's a Pop 2 PSA 10, only 1 year old Kaboom basketball. It's literally this card. Like when I first saw this card, it was in Dallas Card Show. It stuck out like a sore thumb. Like it was far away, and I was like, "What is that gold brick thing?" And then I went there, and then I was like, well, "I gotta leave with this."
Wow.
And it took a lot. I asked a lot of people. A lot of people didn't believe it, didn't like it, and they thought I was crazy for paying what I did. No. And now it's legit. It's Kabooms has been like solidified in the hobby now, I think.
I think so too. It's the only modern Kobe I think I would ever want to chase. What a beautiful card. I mean, just look at it though. I think that's a card that will transcend over time, because I think it kind of has that 90s feel.
Yeah.
It does. It feels like a 90s insert card. And the goal is just terrific.
That's why I want the Slam Bams. Slam Bams is
correct.
It looks
it has it has that. It's a sneaky card. Yeah, it has I mean, I'm a huge, I'll geek out on Kobe all day, but that's just a beautiful Kaboom. Wow. Because I get to later in the show, usually I ask everybody, okay, so you have to exit your home quickly, and you can only grab a handful of cards to go with you. Obviously, once people are saying, what are you grabbing? It sounds like you're showing me those cards right now.
Yeah, there's a few. I mean, is this? I have a few more around me.
Keep going. I would just say that's kind of what you're doing right now.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's what it's about, right? Collectors and.
Oh yeah, I was hoping you would. I had I always have an order, but I don't really care. We'll just go with it, man. We'll go.
Yeah, there's a lot around me, so I can.
No, it's all good. So what would you grab? Like let's
another card I would grab. Oh, great question. So earlier in the year, me and my good friend Mark, business partner, we do a lot of deals together and all that stuff. He's my neighbor in New York City. So we found an opportunity to get the first ever Topps Chrome Superfractor of Cristiano Ronaldo, and this is it right here. So this is the first ever Topps Chrome product, the first ever Super. You just don't see any of these in star athletes. Like the LeBron's first was in 2004. It sold for like 700K. The Lewis Hamilton recently sold on, I think, different platform. I think Golden or something for like 900K. They're not rookie cards. You know, Jordan's most expensive cards are not his rookie cards. They're like green PMGs and red PMGs, you know?
Correct.
Like that's just because what it means to the hobby. It's like the hobby history. So like this is like legit like hobby history, like officially licensed Topps Chrome. Everybody knows Topps Chrome. Everybody knows Superfractor, and this is Ronaldo's first.
And you didn't have to say too much about that card for it to stand up, right? You you just have to say like 3 things, and it's like, okay. Game over.
And it happened. It just luckily it happens to be a PSA 10, which was graded at like the National 2 years ago. So this 2 years ago, Nat Turner put this on his like top 10 cards or something list that he started compiling. This was there. We saw it. Somehow it ended up in our hands like next year and a half later.
Well, good for you. Way to hang on to it, though. That's probably something you're not going to let go of.
When we found this was available, we literally booked the next flight to Hawaii from New York City.
So you went to Hawaii with that one?
Yeah, we literally flew to Hawaii, overnighted, like instantly, try to get the deal done ASAP and bring this. We made a little vacation out of it too. So.
And you didn't. This is not. You have the Lionel Messi's the one you wined and dined in Paris with, right? I remember watching. That.
Then fast forward 3 months later, we get it.
You go and get that one.
We saw this and we booked right away, and it was in Norway. We went to Oslo, in the middle of a farm. This card was buried, and you know,
tell me that story again. That story is very interesting. How was that buried over there? Like what?
Well, so basically, it was the card was a deep Messi collector owned that card, and he happens to live in Oslo, Norway, and happens to live in like a farm type area, and it's like, you know, in his house, it's like a big farm type stuff. And I didn't know that, which is cool. I thought that just like was super cool. I met his family and everything. So anyways, we reached out about a year ago, maybe. He wasn't interested at doing anything. And then we reached out, fast forward like 6-9 months after we got the Ronaldo. We're like, you know what, let's see. And then we reached out, and this time, like, he was kind of willing to, you know, part ways with it, depending, you know, the deal. We went back and forth a few days because it was like a big decision for his part and our part, you know, generally speaking. But then we agreed to a deal. We booked the next flight, flew out. Still nervous, you know, about doing this deal, you know, because it's just like large. It's a very, very, you know, unique. A large deal, and it's a 101, so it's like the shipping, dude. This is gone. If this is ruined, the hobby history will be ruined forever. You know, like it's gonna be that car that's in the middle of the sea, God forbid. So we wanted to like pick it up and, you know, secure it, like, you know, in hand. And then there's competition in the private market with these, you know, 101 superfractors of like important guys. So like, you know, we wanted to like, you could, and I think people could understand why it was like, it had to be. Then I vlogged about it. On my page, I was like, I just released this video. I'm releasing this video now, me on the airplane, after the deal is done. So you guys stay tuned, you know, because then the network is wild. These things. So yeah, these are the 2 cards that I think are unique, and they may be ending up in the finals. So they're still going. These 2 guys, Ronaldo and Messi. So.
And I mean, I know this is hard to say this because it's always hard to commit, but are those cards? Would you be comfortable saying those are cards that you probably won't sell?
So these cards, like for example, I do have it's me and I have a partner in this, but it's two of us technically.
So it's not just your card, right? Yeah. So
right. Just be very straightforward. But these are large cards. Like we found out a fund was trying to acquire this. We're little private two little kids from New York City. We kind of got a whiff of an idea, like bigger players were sniffing around, something was going on, you know, and we're like, nah, let's, you know, so you need a partner. And I think it's fine for these type of cards. But what we plan on doing, I mean, we're enjoying the ownership of holding it, because it's, I don't know, why do people collect, right? Like I have it in my hands, I feel good. That's called collecting, right? Where
Absolutely.
As dorky as it sounds, I'm enjoying. Like you enjoy your cards, you know. You just take
exactly.
Like,
exactly.
You these are cool cards. Oh, I like the
Exactly.
cool card.
And that's why you have them in your hands. You don't have them in some vault somewhere. Nothing against vaulting a card. I mean, to each their own. I think it's, sometimes maybe it just makes more sense. But and there's a lot of great vaulting businesses out there. But I like holding them. I like looking at them.
Yeah.
I have a pretty secure place where I live and all that. But I like having them in my hands. I can look at them and enjoy them. But yeah, I can understand that when you talk about if you're in a partnership and if there's an opportunity to move that card, you're going to do it. I understand that. But it just looks like that Jordan and that Kobe. Well, tell me the difference between those two cards and the Jordan and the Kobe. Obviously, you own those cards 100%, and the other two you don't. Tell me the difference between how you view the Kobe and just because I've seen just those two now. I know there's more, but that Kobe and that Jordan versus these two, the Messi and the Ronaldo.
So here's a interesting situation that I guess just throwing it out there. Since there's two different players, it's cool to do this because now each of us, if we really wanted that card, we could technically buy each other's halves out, for example.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So it's like you get the first right, which is always a good situation to be in. And, hopefully we have decent relationships. So, we could, I'm just throwing it out there. You know what I mean? Just we don't know what's going to happen with these cards. So that's just throwing it out there.
You're not going to throw them in a backpack and just fly away.
No.
Hey, disappear. Shai disappeared. We don't know where he's at, but we know what he has with him. No, that's not going to happen. That's good.
So I think earlier, we talked about how to kind of navigate this hobby, in a situation where the market is very uncertain. And so that's what happened to me. For example, during the summer, we sold a few cards, with pretty decent losses, 10 to 20 to 30K, 10 to 30K on each card, a few. And that one was damn, that was a lot. Actually 10K. 10K, 10 to 20K. So then now, looking, and now we were upset, like everybody else, that's still a ton of money, what the hell? This is not a hobby anymore. I'm not supposed to feel this much pain. Bro, what is this? This is some serious shit. But now, fast forward, and then we were kind of watching the market, everybody, over the last month, I was like, oh shit, these actually have dropped way more now. It's getting now it's getting interesting to actually start sniffing around and seeing what's up. You know what I mean? You can't time the bottom of the market in any market, stocks, real estate, or even cards, for example. You just don't know. Because during this last 3 years, there were a few booms and busts, mini cycles, I think, of price swings. And a few times I was like, yo, the hobby's dying. The hobby's dead. The fun is over. But no, we came roaring back. So I think this is the same thing, in that sense. So getting on that topic, I know the superfractors are so ridiculous. It's one-on-ones. Dude, this is my new thing that I've kind of started doing over the last few weeks for fun, just to because it was interesting in the hobby. I started picking up just the red versions of the base, the red refractors of in Topps Chrome over the last few weeks. So I have Messi, it's the sapphire red, that's true Topps Chrome. Everybody knows Topps Chrome. Reds are out of 5. So this was my fun little thing in the hobby that I was kind of doing over the last few weeks when I started seeing what the hell to buy or what the hell to do. And not everything is expensive. Look at this Ronaldo card. It's out of 10 tops. I know it's serial numbered. You know what I mean? And it's it was I think 80 bucks. You know what I mean? And it's 2 out of 10.
Now you're talking about collecting, right? So it kind of it shifts, right? When you stop just trying to buy something for a protected store of value that you want to put your money into versus something I just want to have.
That's my new thing, and guess what? I'm having so much fun trying to get now. I got crazy. I was like, dude, now I think I want every red out there out of 10. It's out there. It's a chase. So that keeps me kind of fun and engaged.
This is what this show's all about. And that's why it's serendipitous to be having it launched right around now. But I think it's the timing of it I felt was important because it's just time for us to start talking about what we enjoy just having. I'm collecting Bo Jackson cards now. Bo Jackson, he's okay. I mean, he has somewhat of a market, but he's never going to be, he's not going to be Jordan. He's not going to be LeBron, but he means something to me. There's a connection there. Obviously Kobe's a pretty safe one for me. And I also love Ken Griffey Jr. Those are safer because they're a little bit more, Mount Rushmore type hobby relevance kind of player cards. But you love Ronaldo, you love soccer, you're buying these cards, you're enjoying it. That's what we need to be focusing on, is things that we can keep.
Yeah, like another great example, like soccer card. This is Topps Chrome Merlin. You know what I mean? Color match, red, Robert Lewandowski. It's
That's
out of
cool.
10. It's 200, I think $300, less than $300. You know what I mean? And it's like it's still a dope card. And God knows, like this is like I'm probably gonna end up grading this because it looks very clean in hand. And then there's like your little margin if you want to sell it. It gives you options, keeps you fun and excited.
Exactly.
I collect the card for my red collection now. So
a red collection. So you're putting together a red collection, and are you going to grade those raw cards?
Yeah. Like I want them all in like the PSA slabs, the red on red. That's what I want. I'm probably gonna like put them on my wall. I've always wanted one of those wall things, and it's gonna be like all red, just just for like a fun thing. So that's what I was thinking.
That's really cool to hear. Like you're literally playing right into this. Like that's the fact that you're in the hobby space, and people know who you are, and they're gonna watch this and go, oh, this is what he's doing. He's transitioning into enjoying the hobby differently. It's not just about buying something and flipping it later. But I also think it's good to you can be well rounded. You have a variety of what you do. You have diversity in what you do with the hobby. There's lots of different things you can do. There's no real right or wrong way to do anything. But the emphasis on just enjoying it is the key. Being happy, not getting caught up in the drama. There's a lot of drama. And I know I talk about not having drama on this show, but I think it's impossible to not talk about some of the negativity in the hobby. And so I want to take a break from looking at your cards right now. And I want you to unpack some things that I've been seeing lately. You see a lot of negativity in the hobby, and there's a lot of people that are hurting, and people maybe that were listening to people. And I understand that that's happened. I always stand. My viewpoint is always pretty simple. You're an adult. And if you're an adult and you make adult decisions, you got to be accountable to those adult decisions. No one's making you do anything. You can be influenced, that's fine, but you're still an adult, and you need to be accountable for the decisions you make, not somebody else that you've never seen before, never met before, but you're just listening to on the internet. You got to be accountable to that. And the negativity is really unfortunate. You just recently made a trip to Mecca, and thank you for documenting that. Thank you for being open and showing that. Not a lot of people would do that. I think that was a genuine and transparent opportunity for us to kind of see a little work into you, see a glimpse into what makes Shai, what's important to you. So talk to me about that trip, and how does it intertwine with the hobby? How do you feel like that connects, and your viewpoint on collecting, buying, everything?
Yeah. So like my parents were always telling me that we got to do this trip. You know me, I was like, no, I don't got time. But anyways, after going through, like seeing everyone's kind of like in a little bit of rough, sour mood, like it was this was like a perfect time for me to just drop everything and just just take the spiritual journey that, everybody says it's good. It's like a cleansing process to kind of refresh your mind, see it that way. It doesn't have to be anything religious, guys, like it could just be a way to just reset, refresh. It was a religious experience for me, obviously, which was, very, very a humbling experience, wearing like just 2 pieces of cloth, while, doing the rituals of going around the Kaaba was, something very, very, it was very unique feeling. Like, it's like, if you do it, then you would know. And, I got to do it with my parents, which was, amazing. A lot of people the trip can be costly, and, it's a rough journey, the whole process, So after doing that, I actually ended up buying a card, while at 5 a.m, because I started getting clarity, of how to kind of navigate the hobby, in a sense. So when I came back, after coming back, I really felt like renewed and a new vision in the hobby and all that. I mean, it's it was because to be honest, I can personally get jaded, like sometimes some of my friends or some random people, like my family members, they're hearing me talk about these cards and tell them no, 50-50, like these giant numbers, tell them no, 50 is way too much, you know what I mean? Or little, these things, and you don't value things a certain way. So that's why, going this trip, it humbled me. We could all use that. Maybe I needed it a ton, but it was great. I came back and I have this new approach in the hobby. I just don't even care about all the noise, who cares? And I literally found this fun little niche of these, Topps Chrome Reds tens out of tens and fives. It's a fun chase. It's like a cool little club. 5 people, 10 people could own it unless you get more. So it's like, you know, the thrill is fun. The chase is fun. There's a lot out there, kind of a good amount out there, you know, for every year or whatever. So that's been keeping me busy in the hobby. Yeah.
You know, it's interesting. I feel like, you know, I'm imagining I'm older than you. 42, and you know, I came up playing music, and it was in bands that were signed to major label, and did all that stuff, singer, and I reveled in the attention. I wanted it. I desired it. I craved it. I needed it. You know, you get married, you get older, you get a career, you get humbled in life. You know, I have 4 young children. I don't want to be seen. You know, I don't, you know, one of my reluctancies of doing this kind of stuff is I don't want to be visible. I just want to just absorb, you know, just observe and just serve my children, or just serve my children, just raise my children and be there for them. And that's the only thing that really matters, my wife, and just make it about them and not about me. I just don't want anything to be about me. And I still think that can happen, especially with this type of podcast, or just with Luca Tiger, the network there, and Andrew and Cage and Black Jaded Wolf and Cage. They're just terrific people. But it's about removing yourself from the equation, right? And I think a lot of times when you make it about yourself and when you focus on you, that's when all these things start happening. When you know you are making it about other people, when you know you are trying to do you're making it, every action, every decision you make incorporates another person's how it affects someone else, and you take yourself out of, which is hard to do. There's a sense of clarity and peace that comes from that, right? You don't have to feel or worry or think about it, because you just know you're just doing what is best for someone. You're always thinking about that. And I think as human beings in our society right now, it's really easy to tear people down, judge others. One of the things you can do is just not judge other people. Like, we don't know what other people are going through. We have no idea. Even the folks that are really angry and upset out there, we don't know why they are. You know, there's just ways you can go about living this life and treat how you treat one another. And you could, and let's face it, folks, most of us interact online anymore. So it's important how we interact online. I think we can't just discard it as like, oh, those are just words. They're not just words. People get affected by those words. You know, livelihoods are changed by what people are saying online. You know, all these things. So I'm not trying to go too deep off a tangent, but I really enjoyed that post. And some of the things you were saying, you know, I was like, this is really cool. It's a really great perspective to have.
Yeah.
In the hobby to see. And you obviously noticed all your comments. There's the engagement on your post was pretty special in my opinion.
No, that's another thing, that's another thing that I was just shocked at, like the level of interest a lot of people showed in terms of like questioning. Like, I've gotten like DMs from like very well-known people that, you know, like, this is amazing, because they have never even seen this type of stuff, like the exclusive content that was on the stories of working like grave sites and like important mosques and like their amazing structures. It's fascinating to see everybody, you know, like it was an experience. So the hobby, you know, all different races and cultures, you know, equally showed just encouragement. I was like, oh, cool. And I didn't want it to, and it's a hobby account, literally. It's not, you know, and this was like a personal thing. So, but you know, I try to, just for the sake, you know, try to kind of tie it into it. But from this trip, I did come back, like, at least like I wanted to get rid of like a bad habit, at least one, like, you know, a bad thing. And so far it's God bless it. It's, you know, on a good path. So, you know, you know, it doesn't have to be just, you know, it could be so many different things. You can make it whatever you want it to be. You know, this journey.
That's good. That's good. I mean, you got appreciation from a lot of different angles. Like, you know, everybody, and when they come from different backgrounds, you're right. And you're playing it real nice and even, where it's like, listen, you can get whatever you can get from it. It's great. It doesn't matter where you're coming from. But I think that's the key, though. I think in this hobby, you know, making sure we're all working together, staying as one, and trying to support one another, even if we make a mistake. That's an issue. You know, when someone makes a mistake, I just feel like there's people just waiting to pounce. Or if someone doesn't know everything, or maybe they're a bit, they don't have all of the knowledge because they're newer to the hobby, and there's this sort of gatekeeper mentality. It's like, let's be more welcoming, because the hobby needs as many new participants and entrants as possible. We need to make the barrier of entry easier versus more difficult. So I like that. I like it. So with that being said, I'm talking a lot here now. Should be about you. What are your thoughts on the current state of the hobby, and where do you see it going into 2023, next few quarters?
So far, all right. So this is like this is my view, my I guess my opinions. So right now, obviously, prices are correcting and all that good stuff, right? But you're probably wondering like, what is the next thing? Like we already know, like we got this boom came from, the pandemic and all that, right? I think we can kind of like say that mixture with everybody staying home. We all know the story, but now since we're back to those lower price levels, what's the next thing? I personally think it's definitely going to be when Fanatics comes over. They already dropped 30 50 built so much money in this hobby, buying these companies and all that. They will get the excitement kind of back in, like promotions, marketing. They will do the poster child. Right now, Ken Golden is the guy, the face of the hobby that people keep saying, and all that. Well, let's let the professional they do it. And if you have cards and they're good cards and they're like pre-Panini or the Panini cards, people are probably gonna want those too. You know what I mean? Like they want the original. So if you have what you have, don't be afraid. Like me personally thinking I'm not doing it for that, but if people are worried about their prices, the next big catalyst, a big market wide catalyst has to be coming from the changing of the shift of the NBA licenses and all those licenses from whatever, like that whole transition of them becoming the face of the whole hobby, like
Right.
owning,
So that
monopolizing, basically.
right. Well, yeah. I mean, but is that terrible? The direct to consumer approach. What does that do to the distributing network?
Oh,
Is
I
my
mean,
question.
look, I've seen like those breakers. I don't want to get into all up in their business and all that. I know breakers have things with store owners of allocation of getting hobby. They, the hobby stores think like, dude, we're the bread and butter. We've been around. Like, give us the boxes. We're dying out here. But then the breakers like, give you all the, rip, rip, rip. More product will buy. So it's like a shifting. But I guess the new method may solve some situation. I think a lot of breakers, fanatics may hire them, and who knows, like who knows what's gonna happen. But main thing is that whatever happens, everyone's gonna hate it. That's how it works. People, the psychology of the market of human is new people hate change. And guess what? I miss Panini. That's what you're gonna be seeing. Mark my words. I missed Panini. Damn, I kind of missed those cards. Look at this fanatic. That's just how it is. Because right now we say it about Panini. I hate Panini. Blah blah blah. Give me the '90s cards. You know what I mean? Upper Deck, basketball, exquisite. But it's a cycle, so that's what I personally think, because there's so much eyeballs in this Panini era. This boom is bigger than the 90s stuff that we kind of geek out about. So I think some of these modern cards will hold a great deal of value way in the future, when you gotta have a long term, you gotta collect and then let the market do its thing.
Right. So the market's going to get disrupted. That just happens. It's natural. And it's either going to create more efficiency or it's going to create more friction. You just hope it's going to be more efficient. And you can't please everybody. That's true. You're going to have folks wanting and pining for Panini days, which right now with the redemption conversations, you would never think. But and the printing, right? You would never think. But that, it's all part of it. And I think you got to be mindful of that coming into this. And I think it's important also to figure out, okay, what do I like? What do I want to just collect? If everything goes to nothing, what do I want to still be holding on to? Now, people say that, well, if it all goes to nothing, you still got to be happy with it. I don't think anybody's going to be happy with anything they spent money on that goes to nothing. Okay. That's another human psychological mindset. You're never going to be like, oh, that's okay. No one says that. I spent, $10,000 in this card. It's worth $5. Yeah, that's no big deal because it has this little patch here. No. You're still going to be, that's going to be a pain point for you every time you look at it. But you got to love it too, right? I get it. But I think it's too easy to dismiss that and say that. So, yeah.
So that's why to avoid that, I have cards that we don't know the values of. So it's all fantasy land. These 101 supers, who the hell knows?
Who the hell knows?
These words. I swear to God, like these are very, very unique cards. So that keeps me in a clouded thing where, but I know some cards we know the value straight up. Like, bro, this is not 100K. This is $1,000. Shut up. You know what I mean? But there are other weird cards that we really don't know. And, different various price points, like a smaller player, a 101 could be maybe 2K, maybe like 8K, which is still a big enough difference, but you just don't know. So
what else do you have here? So you grabbed a handful. There's been a handful. So you can grab a couple more if you had to get the heck out of Dodge real quick. What are you saving?
So, like, for example, another card, while I was in this, on this So how much I love Reds is
Yeah.
basically here. Like I'm a wrestling dork too. So like I was collecting like wrestling cards. So like this is the Topps Chrome Red
Oh, look at that.
Red Refractor out of 5, which obviously
The Rock.
yeah. And then I also have like the first ever Prism Gold of the Rock. So
Look at that.
these are kind of cool cards that
if you're gonna collect a wrestler, The Rock, you can't go wrong.
Yeah,
with The
yeah.
Rock or
There's
Hulk
another
Hogan and
thing.
all that
Like
stuff.
The Rock is unique. He's like on like how LeBron Jordan comparison, Ronaldo, Messi. The Rock doesn't compare to any other wrestler. I feel like his like it's The Rock. Like he's just too big. He's
Yeah.
compared
He
to like the big
Yeah,
wrestler.
he transcends wrestling, right? He's obviously
Yeah.
a movie star and all
I
his
hope
product
there's
lines.
I hope there's a Rock versus Roman Reigns WrestleMania match. If that happens, I mean this card is probably gonna be a big deal at that time. But yeah, these Reds. And then I can show you a new pickup that I was just about to post. It's from a set. So like me branching out into these Reds, like trying to collect like Topps Chrome, Stadium Club, Topps Paper, like true Reds, base parallel Reds out of 5 because it's just fun. This is like a dope card, right? So this is 2020 Stadium Club. The photography is pretty nuts. Also, this is the red out of 5. The photography on these are pretty insane. So I haven't posted a lot of these cards. So like this is like a first access. So this was so crazy. Then this one we haven't posted yet.
These soccer cards, see, I know nothing about soccer. These soccer cards are, I mean, those the landscaped cards of soccer, I feel like they're better.
So yeah,
they capture more of the action in a shot.
Well, just for these type cards, there's prism cards that look very, very different. Like, for example, like this type soccer cards looks very, very like it could be any athlete,
Yeah.
This is a special set. It's a 2020 Stadium Club soccer, the first ever Stadium Club set, and this is the Messi, the case hit, the product hit, the Superfractor 101 Messi card. So
that's a Superfractor. Wow, Superfractor Stadium Club.
Yeah, the first ever Stadium Club. This product.
I'll argue it looks almost better than the other one, the other Superfractor.
Yeah.
I think that's a cool card. I think the way it's not vertical. I get that, but
yeah, and look at the Holland. This is the red version.
That's really cool. I mean, those are cool looking cards.
Exactly. Yeah, that's why this set is not too many people know about it, but this is absolutely bananas. So those are some of the cool cards that there is here. And then I also have this like Ronaldo Soul of the Game. This is Ronaldo Flawless 26. There's only 1 year of Flawless soccer. Everybody knows Flawless, obviously, but for soccer, there's only 1 year, and it's the only card that has match worn with on-card autos of Ronaldo, Messi, basically. So there's very few of these. These are on-card, and they're match-worn boots. It's a 2-color. To gold. I graded at the National. This was a deal I did with the guy from France. It was buried there. He had it for years. And, we did a deal for Jordan and Jordan cards for this soccer card at the National. I graded it. I got a PSA 9 auto 10. Flawless. I'm fine with that. Pop 1, none higher. So, like, there's another cool card. Yeah.
So it's safe to say, Ronaldo, you're soccer first, primary soccer
right,
first.
I'm a basketball guy. I'm a '90s guy. I had like a million '90s cards. Jordan autos, Final Four autos.
Okay. Okay. So you're diversified. Okay.
Yeah. And then like I think these are on my page too. Like these are Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, both jersey number. This is 35 out of 49. This is 30 out of 49. So dual jersey number on card. Autos immaculate. These are, I don't think you see too much of these type of cards. They're low grades, but we all know I'm not the craziest fan of authentic slaps. Just give me the straight number. We know immaculate doesn't grade well. We know certain cards don't grade well. Just let me know what I'm buying. Stop making me wonder. Let me know. Stop hiding, and I'll respect you more, and I'll pay you. Enough with the authentic slaps.
I don't want authentic. Yeah, no, I get you. I agree. Is it interesting to you to see what other people have? What other people
Oh, yeah.
value, like I don't want. These are my best favorite cards. So are you surprised sometimes what you see? That's what I've been noticing. I'm surprised some of these cards are the cards. They're not all. They're never the cards that everybody has. That everybody the stalwart cards. They're never those cards. They're not always the PSA 10 Jordan 86 Flair. There are all these different kinds of cards, which I think is fascinating to me. It shows it's okay to value above all else cards, that obscure cards that people don't even know about.
Yeah, and me getting into this rabbit hole, I got into like I found new sets, and now I just found out like I got really into Obsidian Red Flood. I don't know if you know that card. The card is like full blown out red, and it's only 10. I'm like, what is this? Give me this. And they're cheap. They're all under $1,000 relatively. Nice. I know, how under 1,000 the hobby
these days that's cheap. Yeah.
Yeah. So, it's fun to kind of, play with. I went crazy and I went absolutely bananas over the last week and a half building this new PC that I'm having so much fun with, to be honest.
So are you full-time in the hobby?
Yeah, I mean, it takes up a lot of my time, but yeah, I guess full-time, but I'm just doing my own thing, canceling out the noise, and just navigating the hobby, collecting what I like.
Wow.
If I have to sell something, I'll sell it to get something else that I like more,
That's, I mean, a lot of us do that, but it's scary when you don't have a backstop, but I don't have that kind of courage that you have. Congratulations for that. Someone gives you $100,000 and they say, you get to buy whatever you want. Has to be a card though. It doesn't even have to be a card. It could be a comic book. I don't know, signed shoes. I don't know, a signed jersey. $100,000. What do you get? What do you do? Do you consolidate, sell, buy? What do you do?
You have to buy like one item or multiple items?
Whatever you want.
I mean, I'm a card guy. I'm not too into memorabilia stuff. It just doesn't appease me as much. I know it's a whole different market, like jerseys, game use, just not my thing. I like cardboards. That's just very straight. I don't like crypto, none of that stuff. Like just cardboard. So I would look for interesting cards of your favorite players that's in your budget and as low numbered as possible you can get. And if you're too scared of raw cards, buy graded. If you're too, if you want to buy the raw cards and, try to, just because you want it, that's probably a better idea, because then at least if you don't care about the grade, if it does do well, you added some value. Congrats, So like just navigate the hobby that way. Literally just look for interesting cards, man. There's so much new stuff out there being like discovered. Like there's new hidden sets, like the Kaboom Golds. They came out in 2018. They weren't as much valuable. They were 1,000, 1,500, $2,000 maybe, but then they ballooned to this six-figure level for some of these cards, right? And then they dropped down to like, even in the drop from the peak, it's still so much higher than like, pre-2018, 17. And some of these people that had these cards for like, I still have that Jordan from like 10 years ago, right? Like $400. It was worth a lot more, but it's still higher. I know it's worth lower, but it is what it is. So just collect like, stuff that you can like this $200 card. I don't know what it could be worth in the future. Like, so.
But you enjoy it and you like it. That's really cool. So
I'm not doing it for the value. Yeah. It's not for the value. I really want to make this red bloody wall,
Red bloody wall.
Yeah.
Shai's got a red bloody wall in his house full of soccer reds.
Yeah. Out of 10 only. Out of 10 or less.
Out of 10 only.
So yeah.
I mean, are reds usually just out of 10 though?
Yeah, for Topps Chrome. Like how Prism Gold is out of 10, right? We all know that. Right. Yeah. Usually the Blue Ice 99 or 125, right? But then for soccer, the Topps Chrome Gold usually it's always out of 50, generally speaking. For this first generally like soccer, but for basketball it's a little funky, I know. But for Topps Chrome, the reds are always out of 10 or 5, like usually. So very consistent lineage, easy to understand. I'll take it.
That's nice. Yeah, it keeps it simple. Makes it easier to collect and combine.
Yeah,
put together your sets. Yes. Simplicity. Good stuff. Well, thank you so much for joining me today and walking through your collection and having some hobby talk as well. And, I like the positivity. It's been positive. It's been a very positive podcast talking about things you love and enjoy and giving people permission in this hobby to enjoy it. Yeah. Collect and have fun and buy stuff you like. It doesn't have to be, $20,000. It's okay. Yeah. Buy something that's within your means. Be smart. But enjoy it too. Don't worry about what everybody else has. You're seeing that, other people have there's obscure collections all around. And so I'm excited. The soccer stuff, I had no idea you were that into soccer. I mean, I know about the Superfractor.
Yeah, yeah,
Really? I mean, I just thought about you in basketball. I kind of felt like you're the basketball guy, but yeah, that's really interesting. That's really cool. I like that.
Nah, soccer has been way too much fun ever since I got into it, and the community is different. Basketball guys act, talk, think a certain way. Soccer guys, same thing. Brady guys have their own niche. Football guys in general, Kobe guys have their own niche. Jordan guys are gonna protect their Jordan over LeBron. There's like little fun little groups and cliques of certain collector mindset in the hobby, which is always a fun thing to bounce around.
That's no. Well, before we go, then talk to me about that though. Like, how is soccer different? How is that community different from like the broader community?
One thing that I love the most about it, to be straight up, I love the fact that it's so international. Like the cards I've been picking up, I got like 2 from Portugal, 1 from Spain, and 1 from Germany. That's coming in like about 5, 6, 7 cards from people that are from there. So it's kind of like cool to like talk to them, network, and they're very shipped on time, respect, showing me the progress, personal through DMs, like very, very legit. You could tell they're like, good hobbyists, good people. They had very unique like stuff that I liked. So, I was glad to get those. So that's what I like a lot. I know there's a lot of cool basketball cards in Asia. All the 90s Grail, like the PNG, the Kobe, which I definitely would love. Whoever has one, please reach out. I was bidding on the one on PWCC, long story, but
oh boy,
the PSA 3, I think, yeah. But what it's who knows how the market has changed since that and then to here. I don't even know. So just throwing it out there.
That's great. You never know. You know what? It's great. The market moving down and the prices moving down. I mean, based on what I just heard in economic forecast I was a part of yesterday, I think Q3, Q4, we're going to really feel. I think the recession is going to come in full force because we're just not going to get inflation down to that number. We want it to be 2.5%, 3%. I think it's going to be hovering above 3%. I also feel like, with unemployment, you're going to see the labor market squeeze a little bit there. And we're not going to want to pass on that. The companies are not going to want to pass on that, the labor and the money that's costing for labor to the consumer. And there's going to be a squeeze there. And what's going to happen is I think Fed funds rate is going to go up to 6%. And I think that you're going to see that crunch there. And it's just, I think it's going to just push everybody finally into the recession. And then a reset, is it necessarily a bad thing? I think that's going to affect the card market. I think that the approach that we're making right now with just focusing on things you love and enjoy, there may be some deals to be had. That Kobe might be a play for you this summer, because I think if someone's going to want to liquidate and they need the money,
which one are you talking about? You talking about the Slam Maps or the red PMG?
The red PMG.
Oh yeah. I mean, that could be interesting. So yeah, patience is key. Patience is key.
Just wait. I think you wait. I say you wait. That's my 2 cents. I think going into this next year, it's important to be patient. It's important to collect what you love. But there might be a time to be able to grab some of those great cards. So thank you so much, Shai. You're great. This is awesome. Again, friends, thanks for joining us at this collector series of PC Journey. I'm DPZ, and we got Shai Wave Vlogs. You follow Shai on Instagram?
Yeah. Follow Twitter. Me on Instagram, TikTok, Shai Wave Vlogs, SHAI.
Shai Wave. It's Shai, not Shai, right? Shai?
Yeah, Shai Wave Vlogs. Yeah.
Shai Wave Vlogs.
Yeah, my first.
Absolutely. Follow him. Thank you. This has been great. Awesome. I love it. Soccer cards. Wow. I'm starting to get learning. Like Andrew talks about soccer a lot. I'm learning about it. It's
fun and it's cheap. I don't know.
I know. Cheap's not so bad for folks right now.
Relatively.
Relative to the hobby community, in general. But thank you so much for taking the time. Again, you follow me at PC with DPZ. Follow Luka Tiger LeBron Network on Instagram, Twitter, everywhere else. Have yourself a great day. Thank you once again, my friend, for being here.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
You bet. Take care.
With nearly 40 years as the most trusted resource for collectors, dating back to the first Beckett magazine in 1984. Beckett has been the brand that bridges generations of the hobby. We're happy to be partnering with Beckett and look forward to keeping you all updated on the big things happening at the company in 2023. Beckett. It's the name you know and the name you can trust.